Well, hello, lovely humans. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jamie Wolfer, and I'm a wedding planner who does weekly tips and tricks videos to help you navigate this crazy world of wedding planning, and today's video is no different. But if you clicked on this video, then you know that today we're going to be talking about how to give honor and to give space for people who have been really important in your life who are no longer here with us. And I know that that means that not everything feels bright and cheery and beautiful in the world of wedding planning. Like, I know that there is, for some of you, there's a very deep-seated pain going through this process of not having this person there, not being able to talk to this person about event planning, not being able to run to them with color questions or to have them be a part of this glorious day. There's so much about this that's like, it's gonna be crummy. And I'm so sorry, but I also know that you've clicked on this link because you want to find a way to honor this person who meant so much to you. Whether it's a family member or someone whom you cherish a whole lot, this person isn't here. And you want to give them space and give them glory in either a very small or a very large way on your wedding day, depending on how you feel so called. So today's video, I'm going to be doing this with hopefully as much grace and tact as I possibly can. And I know a lot of you are at different stages in the grief journey, whether you're still in the thick of it or you're treating this as a celebration of their life. You could be anywhere and feeling any sorts of emotions, and they might change at a moment's notice. And so I don't claim to understand necessarily what you're going through, but I am going to provide to the best of my abilities some wonderful ways to honor these wonderful humans. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. Now, I know I literally just said this, but it bears repeating. People are at different stages of grief, and people are going to choose to express that in different ways. So I've separated these ideas out into 3 different categories of how you can honor someone who has passed: public, subtle, and private. None of these are a wrong answer. You're not limited to doing just one, but depending on where you're at through these stages of grief or who this person was, it may not feel right to honor them in a large way or in a small way. So feel free to sit with each and every one of these ideas, toy around with them. I've also linked our In Memory of Pinterest board right here if you want to get some visual inspirations for what these could potentially look like. But I'll also leave that in the description box below if you want to check that out when this video is over. So let's start off with the public ideas. The first one that most people think of is a memorial table. A table where you place out photos of those who have passed that you really wish were there with you on your wedding day. It could be grandparents, it could be parents, it could be a college roommate, it could be all of them. Whether it is a 6-foot-long table or just a small little round, a way of just having someone's face there present on your wedding day is a very common way of giving this person or these people honor and respect on your wedding day. Secondary to that, you could have a candle burning in their memory with their name on a sign next to it, or a lantern with their name on it as well. Some sort of very specific reminder of who this person was and how this candle is burning. I think there's probably like a poem to go along with this. Again, that Pinterest board is going to probably have the poetry down way better than I will, but a specific reminder of who that individual soul was to you and probably to other people at your wedding. A third way that you can do this is just to have general signage, where it may not be specific to that one person, but we know that you'd be here today if heaven wasn't so far away. That's a very common, hey, I nailed that poem. That's a very common one. We see that all the time, and there is a little cheesiness into some of the poetry, but then also there's some cuteness to it too. So do what feels right for you guys in this particular capacity. Again, with the candle, it could be this candle burns in memory of those who can't be here with us today. You don't have to necessarily specifically call out names if you don't feel so inclined, or these ideas can be mixed in with the memorial table as well. They're not inherently individual ideas that you have to do separately. You can absolutely overlap, and that goes with any of them on this list, by the way. You can do as many of these or as few of these as you want or you feel so called to do, or as you feel like this person would want to be honored. Maybe they were immensely shy or hated attention and would be mortified if you did some sort of public display, but you know your loved one way better than I do. So honor them in a way that feels right to you and to their memory. One of my favorite public displays is this borders on a more subtle one, but that is to reserve a seat at your ceremony. Some people will put a photo of the person that they've lost, or they will put a floral arrangement there, but just to hold that space of honor for someone who's supposed to be there, or at the reception as well. I vividly recall the first time I did a wedding for an ex-Marine, and he had a fallen soldier's table, and how sweet and how tender that was. What a beautiful tradition that is to give honor to all of those who served beside him who couldn't be there that day. So having a physical chair or a physical spot or even a physical table, if you feel so inclined, to hold those people at is very sweet and very tender. Another beautiful public way of paying homage to either the singular beautiful person or multiple people in your life is a slideshow. Whether you want to have a full-on everyone stop and watch this moment, or you want it just subtly playing in the background. Gathering up some really precious images of you and this person, or your fiance and their person, and displaying those in a way that guests can really kind of interact with and take time and reflect upon. Whether, again, you call attention to it or not, it could just be something that's just playing. It's just present. It's just something to look at. Or it could be a moment where you have everyone pause to watch and enjoy that time and space with you. Which kind of leads into our next idea of more public displays, and that's actually speaking about them. That is saying this out loud, saying their name, creating a space where, whether it's a moment of silence or using their name in your vows, or calling attention to who they were in your life or your fiance's life during a toast or a speech, saying their name. And some of you may not be in a place to do that. That's okay. But some of you may feel like, I have to say this person's name out loud. It could be someone as intimate and special to you as a parent or a step parent or someone who raised you that you just feel like, I have to get these words out. And if giving a full-blown speech or toast or mentioning them in your vows feels like too much, holding a moment of reflection is a really powerful thing to do as well. That's something you can have your officiant do on your behalf. That's something if you have someone praying over your meal before the reception, you could also do it then. Someone else can do that on your behalf, but it's a very public way of saying we honor this person whom so many of us love that we wish could be here right now in this moment of silence. The next few ideas are a lot more subtle. It's not an all-out display, but also can, again, be used in conjunction with some of the other ideas. The first one would be play their favorite songs. Like if the person who passed had an obsession with Kenny G. I mean, hey, to each his own, right? Maybe that's who you play during your cocktail hour. Maybe that's the kind of music that you have going. Or let's say they were really into ragtime or jazz. That could be what's playing during dinner. Those sweet moments that if someone knew who it was that had passed and knew that this person really enjoyed that kind of music, that it would touch their heart, right? Or you can do it a little bit more publicly, like during a parent dance, and maybe the parent that you would want to dance with is not there. That could be a moment to share that song. It depends on where you're at emotionally on this, but music is so powerful. And it's such a great way to share, this person that you loved who has passed, to share one of their passions and share something that they've been so excited about. And you can kind of get creative with that too. It could be a book reading, it could be poetry, it could be a couple of verses out of the Bible, something that was precious to them that you create space to then share with other people. You could also include their favorite food on the menu, or their favorite dessert at the dessert table, or your favors, if you choose to do favors, could be their favorite candy bar. You could also do their favorite drink. Maybe it's a small nod, maybe the person who passed had a favorite red wine and you decide to serve that. Or maybe they were known for epic margaritas, and so that's what you're choosing to serve. And that may or may not include a sign. It depends on if you want to call attention to that or if you want to keep it really quiet. It's the lighting in this video, is definitely not beyond me that it's going from cloudy to super bright. Oh, what a sweet video to have changing lighting on this one, right? And then the last subtle but kind of public-facing way that you can give honor to this person or to these people is to donate to a charity that they would love. Or maybe they have loved, or they've donated to on their own behalf as well. Whether that's they have an obsession with rescuing boxers, like someone in my family does, donating to a charity like that, or to some sort of fund that really spoke to their hearts. And you can have a sign that delineates that, or you can have a little card in lieu of favors. We've donated to blah, blah, blah on behalf of this person. And then there's the private ones. They're the ones that you need to be touching. You want to be holding. You don't need it out there. People may know, people may not know, but you physically want to have it on your person, right? Because you just couldn't imagine not having them right next to you. Right next to you. One of the most common things that we see in this kind of category is to attach something to your bouquet. Beautiful, beautiful photos of the intimate details of a grandmother's locket, or there are these awesome options on Etsy. And I'm sure there's other avenues as well. I'll link our in memory of list here that we put together on Etsy for you guys if you want to check it out, where you can get a locket with their face on it. You can have something made for that exact purpose. Another really private, subtle way is to potentially change out a flower or two in your bouquet, again, to symbolize who that person was, or maybe they had a favorite. That might fall in the more subtle category. I didn't know quite where to put that, but because it's something you're physically holding, it just feels a lot more personal to me. Maybe you have a handkerchief of theirs. I had my grandfather's silk handkerchief at my wedding. That was the something old I was able to carry with me. Another super sweet way of doing this is to have something sewn into your dress. I don't know if you guys know this, but we have something set up where we actually receive people's wedding photos as submissions to share on our blog. I'll link it right here if you're interested in doing that. But one of the brides who shared what she did on the inside of her dress was so beautiful. She had fabric from this loved one's shirt sewn into her dress, and then had a super cute little Peter Pan reference, second star to the right, so these little stars that were put in as well. So it can be a scrap of fabric from a piece of clothing, an article of clothing from this loved one. Or I've seen people have handwriting sewn into the inside of the dress, whether that's in the skirt or in the bodice so it's close to your heart. Just a physical, like putting something on the inside of the dress that really only you and your wedding party that's getting ready with you know about. Maybe your photographer can catch a picture of it. But it's just so you can hold them close. Another idea is to use something of theirs. Maybe you have a cake knife and server from your grandparents' wedding that you get to use to cut your cake with your spouse. Or maybe it's their champagne flutes, or maybe it's their original china that your plates, specifically yours, used to be theirs. Or the napkins that you use. It doesn't have to be for everybody. It can be just what you and your fiance are using. Some people may notice, some people may not, but it's just a really sweet and subtle way for you to really enjoy and honor and give space to that person in that moment. And then lastly, a very common but a very subtle way of doing this is just to wear something of theirs. You know, it could be, as instead of having something sewn into the inside of a dress, maybe their shirt is turned into a pocket square. So it's a little bit more obvious, it's a little bit more forward facing, but you know, because you're holding it right here. Or you could wear a piece of their jewelry or one of their hairpins. Wear an item of theirs that you can keep on your person throughout the whole day. Their watch, maybe a ring of theirs, something physical that stays in contact with you the whole day. Because obviously you're going to put your bouquet down. Obviously you're going to walk away from your table. Obviously you're not going to stand by the in memory of table the entire time. So to have that physically attached to your person can feel like such a different way of expressing love for some people. So it just depends on where you're at in this process, how you want to honor this person, and how they would want to be honored. So that's all we have for this week's video, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. I know that this is a really hard subject. I know it's not all if you clicked on this, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. And I appreciate you allowing me into this space with you. You guys have definitely requested this video time and time again, so I'm really happy to provide it. Again, if you want some of those visual ideas, I've linked that Pinterest board in the description box below if you want to go check that out. If you have done something or are planning on doing something to give space, grace, and memory to someone who has passed for your wedding day, will you please share that in the comments? Because I know it can be really hard to find something that hits correctly for some people, and some of these ideas might work, and maybe you have something even better than I could have come up with. Drop those in the comments below. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to this channel for more tips and tricks for the modern day bride. And until next week, bye guys.